Hello, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Naga, Munchetty and Ben Thompson.
Our headlines today. Calls for a police investigation after secret papers reveal the post office fought sub-postmasters in court, despite knowing its case was false.
A row over class photos at Good morning. It is Good Friday, the 29th of March. A senior MP has called for a police investigation after secret papers seen by the BBC showed the post office continued to fight compensation claims brought by sub-postmasters, despite knowing its defence was false.
Labour's Kevan Jones, who sits on the Horizon Compensation Advisory Board, has called the post office's actions an abusive use of public cash against innocent people. He said there'd be no justice until someone was brought before the courts. Our reporter Aruna Iyengar has more.
It's the latest twist in the ongoing post office drama. Between 1999 and 2015, hundreds of sub-postmasters and sub-postmistresses were wrongly prosecuted because of faults with Horizon, an IT system created by Fujitsu and used for tallying up the books. The postmasters began legal action brought in 2016. They became known as the 555 Group. The Post Office agreed to pay them £58 million in compensation and costs. But now this secret 2017 draft report, uncovered by the BBC, shows the Post Office spent £100 million fighting submasters in court when it knew its defence was untrue. Commissioned by the Post Office, the Bramble report by Deloitte said Fujitsu employees had the ability to amend or delete transactions entered by branch staff. The system wouldn't flag up to a postmaster if a change had been made, and those changes could cause a shortfall in branch accounts. It also said a malicious actor could potentially change data, though there's no evidence this happened. Labour MP Kevan Jones sits on the Horizon Compensation Advisory Board. He's called on the police to investigate.
I do now think the police need to start looking at this. More will obviously come out at the public inquiry, but there's enough out there now, I think, to start looking.
The Post Office has said it's deeply sorry for the impact the scandal has had on people and has told the BBC the public inquiry's next phase would look at the issues raised. Fujitsu said the group regards the matter with the utmost seriousness and offers its deepest apologies to the sub-postmasters and their families. Janet Skinner, a former sub-postmistress from Hull, lost her job and was sent to prison in 2007 based on information from the Horizon system.
They could have prevented that court case. Do you know, the 555 others that went to that court case, they could have prevented that and they could have saved a lot of time, money and tears.
For many, delivery of justice is taking far too long. Aruna Iyengar, BBC News.
We'll talk some more about that a little later. But Naga's looking at an astonishing story coming to us from Scotland. Naga, morning.
Yeah, decision-making that's unusual, to say the least. Ben, thanks.
Hello, good morning. It's just after 8:30. This is Breakfast with Naga, Munchetty and Ben Thompson.
Good morning to you. Changing the community in a big or small way. It's the theme of a new Radio 4 weekly series, Charity. However, Max passed away in 2022, but Kerry hasn't stopped walking.
The early 80s in the West Midlands was a time of turmoil and civil unrest. It's played by a local lad too.
It's just been a lot of own history and what the fabric of my area as well. You know, I've learned
like this.
There's been days where it's quite like.
If you like music, you make whatever genre of music you like.
What I love about country music is where in America...
Subgenres as well, and that's the important distinction.
Yeah.
Why do people behave the way they do online?
With presidents and prime ministers who lived through it.
The BBC. Watch on iPlayer, listen on Sounds.
The toughest iPlayer.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Naga, Munchetty and Ben Thompson.
Our headlines today. Calls for a police investigation after secret papers reveal the Post Office fought sub-postmasters in court, despite knowing its case was false.
A row over class photos at a school in...
Aruna Iyengar, BBC News.
Now, Naga's looking at the other main stories this morning, and an astonishing story, Naga, coming to us from Scotland. Will no longer have to pay a fee to apply to have their debts wiped out.
For a debt relief order to wipe out her debts. And if they own a car, it can be worth a little more, going from £2,000 to £4,000, and they're still able to...
Why?
OK, well, we're going to ask Mike Copeland because...
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow from 6 o'clock. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
See you then. Bye-bye.